friends, welcome to Coding Garden with CJ. Welcome to a chill stream where I will be working on an overlay drop game. There are no drops happening right now, but basically this seedling drop game that you see here, I'm going to attempt to turn it into a Christmas themed drop game. So hello everyone, welcome to the stream. Hello Daniel, welcome. Hello Mr. Moonslam. Mr. Moonslam at the top of the leaderboard with a 97.98. It's not the best we've ever seen, but it's pretty good. Hello Bob, who says it's rigged. It's not. Bob has actually the highest score we've ever seen with a 99.98. But yeah. Hello Influke. Hello Totally Sane. Welcome. Hello Bob. Hello Imaginary Warhawks. Welcome. What's up, Bob? Hello, Faster Aaron 99. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, no katas tonight. I'd been talking about this on a lot of the streams that I would turn this into a Christmas themed drop game, and I got to do it sooner than later, so I'm going to try to do it tonight. Hello, ATD, who says, looking heckin' fresh. It's a little late for me, but I'll check out the VOD. Good deal. Thanks for stopping by, and thank you for the compliment on looking heckin' fresh. Bob. Yeah, Bob, you are the best I've ever seen with a 99.98 on the leaderboard. Yeah, 1 week left. We better do it. Cool. So this drop game, which you see happening right now, if you type !drop in the chat, if you just type drop, you'll only see the seedling thing. And if the seedling thing lands here, you'll make it on the leaderboard and a nice little seedling will grow. But the plan is instead, we'll show a Christmas tree right here. That's kind of like always there. And if the drops hit the Christmas tree, they will become ornaments on the Christmas tree. There we go. Imaginary Warhawks almost made it on the target. So those of you that are watching, and they're not many because this is a Twitch only stream. Usually I stream on both YouTube and Twitch, but tonight I decided I would try just Twitch. Yeah, Bob. So a perfect 100 would be a star on the top. I like that idea. Technically right now, if you land dead center, you would get a perfect 100. But yeah. And hello, Josh. Hello, Cheyenne. Imaginary Warhawk says they usually watch on YouTube. That's good. So I would like your opinions. Should I write the game from scratch? Should I use the existing code that I have? So the existing code is on GitHub. github.com/codinggarden/seedlingdrop. The interesting thing about it, though, is it integrates with my custom chat server. So because I usually stream on YouTube and Twitch, I have my own custom chat server, which basically takes the live chats from both and puts them into one stream, or like one stream of messages. Whereas I could write it from scratch and use something like TMI.js, where I'm only listening for Twitch messages, and that way potentially other Twitch streamers could use it on their stream. What do you think I should do? Should we basically just take the existing code base? It'll stay with my chat manager, and then we modify a little bit, or do we write it totally from scratch? Totally Sane says we write it totally from scratch. What else are you thinking? Yeah, and let's save some ideas here, because maybe if you get like a 90 or above, you become the star on the top of the tree, because that would be cool. Hello, Aaron. Welcome. I am in a giving mood. I'll probably stream for like probably 2 hours or so. Most people are saying from scratch, and Josh just says we should write it from scratch with TMI so that others can use it. And that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, I would write it that way on stream, publish it that way, but then for my use, I would change it to use my chat server. So I think that's what we'll do. Can anyone think of a good name for it? Should we call it Christmas Drop? Ornament Drop? Name pending. But we have some ideas. This one comes from Bob's Paradox. Perfect 100 is a star at the top. I'm thinking maybe like a 90 plus is a star on top. And it bounces the previous person that was the star. The thing is, like, it's hard to get a very high score. We could make it 98. We could make it like 95 plus, 98 plus, something like that. Sprucey, spruce up your Christmas. Okay, and we'll also have a section for name ideas. We have Sprucey. Here, let's see this. The new button on the chat just removes messages like that. I've been told that I should put it in the top right, but yeah. And this idea comes to us from Joshua Ferris. Hit the tree. It just removes it for me. Yeah, I haven't tapped into the Twitch moderation APIs or anything like that. That's the plan, to eventually do something like that. Hit the tree. I kind of like my name. It's not as original, Christmas Drop. But I think I like that a bit more than what has been suggested. But feel free to keep suggesting. Dropmas. That's okay. it's all right. And also, we can build the thing without naming it, so that's probably what we'll do. And there's not too many people watching, so I'm just gonna close that chat manager. We're just gonna see the chats on the side. If I miss a question or miss a comment, feel free to repeat it, but we're gonna go with just this chat on the side. Okay, and let's write it from scratch. So the seedling drop game that is a thing right now, we used vanilla JavaScript, and we just had some... Stop it, Andrew Lane. We have some basic logic that basically detects if it's hit the side of the screens or if it hits the bottom. Dreidel drop. That's not bad. And we wrote it all from scratch. So we can write it all from scratch again. We could find potentially a game, like a JavaScript game library to use. What do we think? Dreidel drop. Drop them dreidels. Hello, JD Sisson. I just wanted to see what would happen. Because usually I'm streaming on both. And I want to see how many people will tune in. And right now it's not as many as usual, which is fine. It's totally fine. Because I am going to upload the VOD to YouTube. But it's interesting to see how Twitch notifications work versus YouTube notifications, that kind of thing. The interesting thing is there was a pull request that added collision detection, and I never implemented that. Somebody else implemented that. So that would be fun to implement myself. Okay, let's start at least coding. Let's get something on the screen, and then we'll go from there. So do we need a folder? We don't need a folder. We're just going to create a file, index.js. How about some core mechanics that you just put your own resources in the folders? In this instance, it's just Christmas theme resources. I don't know if we want to get too generic with it. I think just building a Christmas specific game is totally fine. Because, I mean, honestly, like I could take the drop game and like slightly modify it and we would be done. The main difference game mechanic here is there's going to be a tree and we have to detect when it hits the tree or if it gets to the tree and then put an ornament on the tree. And my thought is the ornaments will stick around. So instead of disappearing, if you drop like an emote or an emoji or like your own avatar, that will stay there for the rest of the stream, at least until the page refreshes. That's the plan. Cool. So, name Dropmas. I think somebody's, Andrew Lane suggested Dropmas. Cheyenne is suggesting Drop Xmas. So we've got a basic HTML page. We're gonna call it Christmas Drop until we get a good name. And we need to find a Christmas tree. Let's just search for an SVG Christmas tree. And you know what would be cool actually is if we find like a nice vector tree and then we put some blinking lights on it. That would at least be good to do. These look nice. I need to find like free vector art. Are there any artists in the chat? Can somebody whip up a nice Christmas tree real quick? There's also like a from scratch, gotta make your own. I don't have that much time. There's like a free PNG site that I've used before. What's it called? PNG tree, PNG images, Pixabay. I've used that before. Yeah, there we go. Thanks, Josh. And we can sort by vector graphics. Okay. I definitely want something cartoony, like something like this, but it's a little too. It needs to be bare to begin with, but we'll keep that one in mind. I want something, maybe like something like this, something with a lot of branches, so it'll look cool with little emotes hanging off of it and stuff. Yeah, I sorted by vector graphics. Can I do other things? It should be fine. Those are some nice Christmas trees. We can maybe pick one out of there, depending on the resolution. Actually, I like these a lot because they're bare, and we can make them what we want. And I guess it also depends on the resolution. That one's all right. That one's pretty cool. Them some nice trees. I agree. Free vector art. Let's look at this website. Christmas tree. Well, vectors don't have real. It's as if they let us download as SVG, because some of these are actually like PNGs. So we do free download. Ooh, vector graphic. Yeah, that's perfect actually. We're gonna keep that one around. Is the delay? It should actually be way less. Because I'm streaming directly to Twitch. I'm not using my Docker multi-streamer or anything like that. So it actually the delay should be way less. Is this one? Yep, they have that one as an SVG. That one's a little too cartoony. I think it's between that one and potentially one of those trees. And that's too cartoony. Good morning, Ed. Welcome. Let's see. Good morning, Krisu. Ah, I see. Yeah. Who else is home for the holidays? Thing is, those already have a tree on top. Can we enhance? Zoom in. Oh, that's iStock photo. Okay, I think we're gonna go with this. Which tree should we choose? Actually, I'm just gonna download the SVG. Let me create an account and sign up and all that good stuff. Here we go, Majestic Eye. Hello, Majestic Eye. They've got a suggestion for us. We're gonna build a Christmas tree drop game. We've decided to write it from scratch. We're not gonna use the existing drop game. We're only gonna use TMI.js, so other Twitch streamers could potentially use it as well. Second row on the far right is pretty nice. Second row, yeah, this one, I agree. I like that one. I like that it's rounded. Okay, I'm gonna hide my screen and create an account. Oh, wrong thing. I'm gonna create an account so I can download this. Are you trying to rickroll me, Andrew Lane? Please don't. This is not the night for rickrolling. I just want to write some code. Okay, I need to sign up on this site though. Oh, that's a sweet emote, Bob. Is that a dreidel of some kind? Let's see. All right, so I have signed up successfully. And I clicked it and now I'm blind. We're gonna attempt to download this as an SVG. All right, here we go. Yeah, Andrew Lane got me good with a rickroll a while back. Okay. And we will definitely credit the author but here we go. So I downloaded it as SVG, and let's pick one. I think I agree with Josh on which one we should pick, but if we go here, like this, the rounded one is pretty sweet. I think I like this one, and I like that it has multiple tiers. It could potentially look better with lots of little emotes all around it. I think we're gonna go with that one. Let me open up Inkscape, which is an SVG editing tool. That one or the bottom. This one's pretty cool too. It's like a little bit abstract. Second row, last one is the best. Or last row, fourth. 1, 2, 3, 4. I like that it has multiple tiers. I think it'll look better with lots of little emojis if it has multiple tiers. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to import that SVG, Coding Garden, Christmas drop, cheese. Oh, would you look at that? And then we're going to attempt to just extract one of them out. And I'm going to go with this one. Can we ungroup it? Yeah, ungroup. Now that's another group, and then we'll ungroup that group. There we go. Ooh, look at that. So we can just, let's do this. Can we copy it? I'm afraid if we copy and paste it into a new one, it attempts to do like a vector thingy. Yeah, it's vectorized it. We don't want that. Here's what we'll do. We will pull this little guy off to the side, delete everything else, and then just change the document size. Well, can we do this? Can we do Control A? There we go. And then we'll not select that one. Delete everything else. Bring this little guy to the middle. Zoom out. Make him real big. Oh yeah, look at that vector. One thing I've thought about is it's gonna be tricky to do like collision detection. Collision detection for a triangle. I mean, tricky in that I've never done it before. It's definitely possible. I will just have to figure out how to do it. And it's not going to be easy as like a collision detection with a square. Let's do that, and then I'll make the document area a little bit bigger. Yeah, I decided to do Twitch only stream today, and there's a decent number of viewers. I just wanted to see what would happen, because usually I stream on both. There's like roughly 40 to 50 average streamers on average viewers on YouTube, and that usually goes all the way up to about 100 or so. And then on Twitch, I average between like 20 and 30. Yeah. Okay, document properties. We need to increase the height. About there. And then if we center it and center it, it's pretty good. I kind of want it to be like exact. I don't know if there's, I'm not that great with Inkscape. Kind of just click around. Let's go like 320, and then we'll center it. Go even less, 310. Is there a way? Oh, resize page to content. Here we go. Beautiful. Okay. All right, we're gonna save this. Well, no. We'll save it. And I guess, I mean, we could save it as, like, export it as a PNG, or just keep it as an SVG. I don't know, let's see. Tree.svg, save. All right. Let's minimize that. And let's get that tree on the page. So we've got trees.svg, and then we have tree.svg, which should just be that one tree. Cool. Thank you, Majestic. I'll keep an eye on that. Or I'll keep it in mind. Majestic eye. Cool. All right, so index.html, I'm just going to add an image tag, and the source is going to be tree.svg. And let's see what happens. I'm going to start light server in this folder. Actually, I'm going to install live server. I've never used it before, but I've seen it. $3.4 million downloads. Launch a development local server with live reload feature. Let's try it. All right. And I think I can like click a file and say preview or something. Open with live server. Heyo. Yeah, that would be fun. Alka has been busy streaming the Advent of Code, though. So we're probably not going to do another collaboration until Advent of Code is over. And Cheyenne, with a great drop, 94.09. Good work. Okay, yeah, the thing is, like, I mean, you see me code all the time, and I really just like to use the dedicated terminal. I don't like using the terminal inside of VS Code. I've never really used tools like that. I'm trying, though, so cool. But all right, we got ourselves an SVG. Let's center it at the bottom of the screen. So let's add some styles. Let's add a link right here. And we'll just give this an ID of tree. That said, we need some snow, I think, for the bottom. We need for the bottom of the screen here. And hello, Influke. Yep, I made the drop game. The VOD might not be on Twitch, but if you search my YouTube channel, it's from a while back. But just search for like Twitch overlay. And yeah, I made it a while back live on stream. But it is inspired by Instafluff. So if you've ever seen Instafluff on Twitch, he has a drop game called Penguin Drop. Oh, he's not hosting anyone right now. That's rare. But he streams every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And he has a drop game on his channel, so I made my own. And there it is. Get wrecked. That's Faster Aaron on the leaderboard with a 92.19. Great work. Great work. Okay, so we have this image. It has an ID of tree. We need a styles.css file. And let's do this. We're going to make I think we'll make the body a flexbox. And justify content flex end, which will put the tree all the way at the bottom. And then we'll give the tree a size relative to the width of the screen. So let's just say the body has margin 0, padding 0. And we'll say display. Well, we don't even have to make it a flex box. We could just do this. We'll just say the tree has a position of fixed bottom. The tree should go behind the sprouts. I could have both overlay games happening at the same time, but I'm not. I'm eventually, like, at least during Christmas time, and maybe even into New Year's, I'm gonna leave the old drop game off and have the Christmas drop game on. So we'll say bottom 0 and left 50%. And the body will have a width of 100 view width and a height of 100 view height and an overflow of hidden. And the tree, let's just say it has a width of 20 view width and a height of auto. See what we get. There we go. So it's at the bottom of the screen. And I should probably disable the drop game. A drop report scene. Free agent, as in if anyone is recruiting. Top score 99.98. It's true. I have esports. Okay. I have all of the. I won't. I'm not gonna disable the drop game. You can keep playing it here. But I have all of the high scores from every stream in a local database, like MongoDB running on my machine. But the leaderboard here resets every time I stream. But we could go into the archives and see all the high scores over time. Okay, so it's not exactly in the middle of the screen. You can probably see that here. And that's actually a little bit too big. So when we go full screen, 20 view width is too much. Let's go like 10 view width. I think that's a good size. That's a good size. And a trick that I learned from Alka is to use the transform translate X to get it in the direct center. So right now I have left 50%, and that's for 50% of the width, but that's the left edge of the tree. But I want to shift it over by half the width of the tree to get it in the direct center. And that I can do transform translate X 50%. And negative 50%, and that does it. So now it's directly behind the drops, so that's cool. But right now we're testing it, so it's just going to be here. Yeah, I would love to do that. Eventually we can actually get the drop game scores in the cloud and then just have like a global leaderboard. That would be awesome. Yeah. Hello, Cerelius, welcome. I would love to do that. I'll do that soon. Okay, so we got the tree on the screen. I'm gonna make the background black just for now. Yeah, let's just say background black. Or we could do like 333. That's a good dark color. Yeah, I like that. And should we put like some snow along the bottom of the screen? I think so, right? What can we do for that? Let's see if we can find like a vector snow. Yes, everyone says yes. All right, let's do it. It would be nice. I think so. We could also make it like snow emojis. We really just need like a white vector. This could work. Let's see. I don't like the blue though. You know, if this is a vector, we could extract just the white part and use like a part of it. Let's see. Let's download this vector graphic. I'm gonna keep that one in mind. And actually, before I forget, we should credit where we got these images. That's fine. We'll clean it up later. And then where did that Christmas tree go? I don't think I had it in a separate tab. I think it was, I just started searching. This one. Cool. And then the plan was we can potentially open we'll potentially open this vector file and extract like that snow and put that at the bottom. Majestic Eye has CSS snowflakes. Let's see what this is about. Am I about to be rickrolled? I hope not. I'm not in the mood to get rickrolled tonight. Non.js snowflakes for your website. Just add this HTML to your page and enjoy beautiful falling snowflakes. Hey, that's not bad. Let's do it. Thanks for the tip. I guess we'll just do that like right here. So it's finding all the things with the class of snowflake. We could potentially move those styles out. I don't know. But that's there. And then this, not this. Oh, look at the snowflakes. That's great. Yeah, done. Easy enough. Yeah, it's not bad. Little, and I think they're just infrequent enough that I think it'll be okay as an overlay. Hello, Alka. Welcome to the stream. We're making a Christmas drop game. Yeah, make it like just a few, and that way it's not super distracting on stream. Yeah. You should have a stream kill button, so if you hear the song, you can just end the string. It's not humiliating. It's just demoralizing, I guess. Cool. Yeah. So I think that snow might work. We downloaded it. Let's see if we can find any other. We go vector graphics. Josh had a cool idea. Scroll down. Reduce the number of them or make them toggleable. Oh, here you go. When they drop instead of a parachute, put them in the center of a snowflake so they fall down like snow. Yes, that's so good. Absolutely. Well, they could instead of a parachute, we could attach them to a snowflake. Like they're falling down on a snowflake. I love it. That's it. Yes, this is what we will do. Oh, and Alka, we're trying to think of names for this thing. Right now I'm just calling it Christmas Drop. There have been some other suggestions, so if you have a suggestion for a name, feel free to throw it out there. Beautiful. Yeah, that's going to be great. This one could work. Let's open it in a new tab. We could extract like that vector piece right there. This one too. This one too. Right now we're just trying to find some snow to put along the bottom of the game. I think it should be good. All right, so that one, it's a little too blue. That one could work. We'll basically just extract this vector layer. And I think this is two separate ones. And we can like stretch it across the string, so that could be cool. Oh, Alka has snow. Hey, very nice. I like that they're actually like rotating. Generate a sprite sheet of snowflakes. Wow. Yeah, the chat is IQ 1000. Sweet. This CSS snowflake, I think it was Majestic Eye that shared it. You literally, it's just some CSS. So there's a few styles and then some keyframe animations, and it just works. Yeah, so we get that, which is not bad. Okay. That one, I think I'm gonna go with this one, and we're gonna extract the snow from it. Hello, Ben. Welcome. Let's just see. So, new? Should open a new window. Cool. And then we will attempt to import. Hello, Ben. I just wanted to see what would happen if I only streamed on Twitch. Import. We're going to try winter, I think. Internal import. Let's go. You know what? It might have rendered it. Oh, no. Ungroup. 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 Okay, okay. Hey, that's a vector. All right. I think we'll use that. We can like stretch it, and then this one is like the opposite. Actually, we could, if we put them like on top of each other, yeah, something like that. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. Take those two vectors, they go there. Everything else goes away. take these, put them here. Let's just make the background a color we can actually see so we can arrange them appropriately. And then we'll just send that to the bottom object, to the bottom. Okay. And I think we have 2 different vectors. That's actually not bad. Let's make this a little bigger. And then this one goes like that. Yeah, it's not bad. Okay, so delete that guy. We'll say File, Document Properties, Resize Page to Content. Go. Okay. And then we'll save it as an SVG. To treat them. Photopea, is that another like vector site? All right, we got ourselves some snow. Let's add it to the page. So down here, we'll have the tree. We'll put the snow behind the tree. No, we'll put the snow in front of the tree. Oh, Photopea. I know that. Yeah, that's the in-browser photo editing app. Yeah, I always use Inkscape though. Yeah. All right. So image source is going to be snow.svg. We'll give it an ID of ground snow. And then in the styles, we'll make it 100% width and all the way at the bottom. So similarly, position fixed, bottom 0, and width 100%. See what happens. Wowee! It's a little too big though. I mean, I think we'll just lower it down. So bottom -10 view height. Too much. Not bad. If we go full screen, actually, this is what it's going to look like when we're at 1080p, so I need to adjust it accordingly. So we'll go 7, 9, 10, 15, 13, 14, 12, 11. That's not bad. It shouldn't interfere with the stuff that's on my screen, so should be okay. Though it doesn't, it would look natural with the roots of the tree at the top of the snow. So here, let me, I'm gonna hide the drop game temporarily, just so we can see what it's gonna look like. And actually, I mean, I could technically, here, I'll do this. I'll make this an actual overlay. Just a second. Oh, not that. So this is what we get. Tree should be bigger. All right. 50%. I think that's I think that's a good size for the tree. I feel like it's not that bad. It's okay. I think it's good. And we can. That's some nice mounds. Hopefully, mounds of snow. Hopefully the snow doesn't really interfere with the stuff that's on my screen. I can always remove it if we need to. Hello, Spyray. Welcome to Twitch. You can make the ground snow slowly come up from the bottom so it looks like it's building up. Yeah, that would be great. We'll leave it there for now because I want to get the actual game mechanics going. But I think, why can't the tree be in front of the snow so it's like, you know. So here's the thing. If I raise it up a little bit more, 10. Oh, well, that's not good. It doesn't remove the. I need to do this background transparent. There we go. What do we think of that? I think it's a little bit too much snow though, because like right now I have code on my screen, and if it's too far down, I don't know. I think it'd be okay. Looks perfect. All right, we'll leave it. Let's get the actual game going. Scale it down on the y-axis instead of oh, because that would shrink it. I like the way you think. Scale y 0.5. It's probably too much. Hey, that's not bad. And then we can do like 6. Too much. 8. 9. And then what would it look like with the tree on top of the snow? That's the winner. That's the winner. All right. Yeah, all right. Let's get the game mechanics actually going. Okay, so we have this blank JavaScript file. We're going to bring in tmi.js, created by the wonderful Alka. So if you go to tmi.js.com, there's a wonderful, easy code snippet that you can bring in, which is this one, because I think we just need anonymous auth, and we just want to listen for messages in the channel. I am going to have to get the CDN, but I think I'll just download that locally from GitHub. Yeah, we shouldn't need Alka for too much, because it's going to be pretty simple. Cool, so we want to join Coding Garden. Coding Garden. CJ's an expert, don't worry. And we'll listen for a message, and if message dot starts with drop, do the thing. The only thing is we can't require like this because we're in the browser, so I need to get it probably from GitHub. Version 1.5. Should we get the minified version? Let's just get it. I guess Alka, you can tell me. Is this built for the browser? Cool. Very cool. All right, so we'll bring in the script. Source is tmi.min.js. The releases are just, that makes sense, because otherwise you can just install from npm. Okay, so we have TMI. Now, this is going to be hard to debug. Actually, can you show the Chrome DevTools for an OBS source? And thanks for the follow, Exocean. Welcome to the stream. Let's see. Interact. No, I don't think you can. We're gonna have to debug this in the browser. I'll hide it there for now. We just know that it'll look decent. Those are all the drops that happened while the game was away. Okay, I think that's. I'm just gonna debug it. The other thing is like my OBS is on a totally different machine. I think around 5,500. There we go. And then we will give it some background color so it's easier to see. Cool. So we're gonna debug it over here. We'll open the DevTools. Let's set debug to true on tmi.js. We should see like connection happening and stuff like that. Oh, we didn't add index.js, so we don't need to do that. That should be fine. And then in our index, right below TMI, we're also going to bring in our app, our index.js. Let's just log and make sure that something is happening. Okay, we at least get the hello. Oh, there we go. I wonder why I'm not seeing the debug. Options. Oh, do I have to actually have a nested options object? Like that? Okay. There we go. So it's connected. Any drop message we should see in here. So let's make them drop. It should be, I mean, we did it once before. So yeah, there we go. We see some drop messages happening. And I have the overlay game still going, so the drops are working there as well. Cool. So collision detection with the edges should be easy enough. Collision detection with the other drops should be easy enough. We'll get that going, and then we need to figure out how to determine if it's like landed on the tree. So let's do all that good stuff. I think I will, what will I do? We'll drop some emotes. We're gonna drop the Alka face emote. Oh, actually, the Christmas Alka, as an example, while we get things working. Cool. Oh wait, why is it cut off like that? Oh, I guess that's just how the emote is. That's fine. All right. So for now, we are just gonna put a little div right here. We'll give it an ID of drop. And it will have an image. The source is going to be like an emote. And we'll want to have the player's name. Can someone do a drop and remind me what it looks like when they drop on the regular game? I think we'll need to find a good font to use. Yeah, so okay, so the name is above the parachute. Cool. What we need is a snowflake parachute. Let's see if that's even a thing. No images found. Let's just search Google, see if we can find something. I mean, ideally, we'll just put a snowflake there, but I want some... Oh, look at that. That's nice. But I want some lines going from the snowflake. I mean... This is kind of what I want. I guess I could find a snowflake and put some lines on it. Let's go to Google Images. Can I choose line drawing? Vector. Snowflake parachute SVG. Yeah, I guess it should be pretty easy to just add lines to a snowflake vector. Okay, let's find a good snowflake vector. Ooh, got lots of options from freepik.com. I guess we'll search on Pixabay. We know that this stuff is free. You just have to. Actually, I don't think you even have to credit them, but it is good to credit them. It's a nice one. It's pretty cool. What do the snowflakes look like right now? They're all white. Okay. I don't want it to be too distracting. I mean, the drop game is probably already distracting enough, but I want it to be like a somewhat not all over the place snowflake. Put all the snowflakes into an array and pick a random one. I think that's a wonderful idea. We will need to add lines to all of the snowflakes. I think for now, we can literally just have it floating, and then we'll modify the images later. But That's one snowflake. Did we click that other one? See you later, Ed. Thanks for tuning in. These would be good, actually. We would just need to put them in separate files. Yeah, those aren't bad. We could make them white. Oh, that's even better. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have the snowflake as the background, and then the emote or the emoji is just in the center of it. So it's literally like that's beautiful. Thank you, Josh. That simplifies things greatly. Like these are pretty intricate. We could change it to be like white lines. I like these though. We could change the color to be white. So snowy. Crop the picture instead of separating them. Basically like a sprite sheet. We would have to figure out the dimensions though, but it's definitely a possibility. These are cool too. How is that any different? These look very similar. They're just a different color. And it's rotated. We're gonna go with this one though, because we can easily change those to white. Is this also the same thing? Are they slightly different? I think they're slightly different. No, it's the same, just a different color. Okay. The art of vector graphics. Oh, I see. You'll see an animation stack over emotes when you do Santa hat, so snowy, ice cold, reindeer. I don't have better Twitch TV though. Is that a reason to get it? Okay. I think these are some good options. Let's vote. Should we do this one, which are like blue, like they're very intricate and they actually look pretty cool. Should we do these? We'll scale them all to be the same size. We'll extract each individual one. Or should we do these? Vote now. 1, 2, or 3. Blue intricates. They are pretty sweet. I do have to admit they're pretty sweet. We'll make them white, but they're pretty sweet. 2 looks more natural. Ice cold, reindeer, Santa hat, so snowy. Influke is voting for 2. Cheyenne's voting for 1. So I think we have 2 votes for 1, 2 votes for 2. Don't forget about this one. Though these are, I mean, these are kind of a little lame. I'm going to go ahead and vote out this one because these are not that intricate. Yeah, so if we look at the number of unique ones, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh. That's pretty sweet. Yeah, that's awesome. So technically in this one we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 unique ones, and this one has 9 unique ones. Everyone's voting for 2. I think I'm gonna overrule and just go with 1. Actually, let's see what this looks like if we change them to white. Let's see what it actually looks like. All right, we can close the tree. We got that going. We can close the snow. Oh, there's a Santa hat. Alka. 2 looks more natural. It's more cartoony, I think. Hello, Splart. not much is up. We're making we're gonna make a new drop game. It's gonna look like this, but we're choosing snowflakes right now. Okay. What was I doing? Oh yeah, we're gonna open that thing in Inkscape and see what it looks like. Say open. Christmas drop, snowflakes, import. Whoa now. Oh, some weird stuff going on. All right, let's ungroup it. Ungroup it again. Oh, okay. That's too much ungrouping. Go back. Undo. That's unfortunate. The thing I don't like, I don't know if you can see it, but there's like a weird dotted background. We might have to go with number 2. All right, if I ungroup this once. Do I have Figma? Yeah, I don't have Figma. It's really slow on this file for some reason. Yeah, and then this is like individual pieces. All right, we're not gonna go with that one just because it's so intricate and has that weird background. But we're gonna try this one. Snowflake 29366. That's the one. Oh, they're already separate. Cool. Is anyone familiar with Inkscape? Like, could I literally just like put this into a new thing and export it? Can you edit photo? Let's go. Let's get Figma. Let's see what we can do with Figma. Downloads. Desktop app for Mac. Copy paste. The thing about I don't know if it's like because I'm using Inkscape on a Mac, but when I copy and paste, it actually turns it into a rasterized images, so it's no longer a vector for some reason. So edit, duplicate. So that, I mean, that'll make a copy, but I want it to just be on a totally separate document so that I can export just that one snowflake. Hoping there'd be a dialogue. No. Because I'll show you what happens. If I just say like copy and then we go to a new document, and this could be just because of the way I'm using it on a Mac, and you can see it's using like Xquartz. It's not like native for a Mac. If I paste this, we actually get a bitmap instead of a vector. Look at those ugly pixels. There's got to be a way to copy it as a vector though. Yeah, let's just get Figma. Let me hide my screen for a second and I'll install it. All right. Goodbye, Inkscape. There's that. Figma. You do have to log in, so that's weird, but okay. Import. To import an SVG, drag it directly to the open the Figma file. New file. Okay, and then I'll just like drag an SVG onto it. All right, I should be able to show my screen now. Let's do this. We're going here. We're going Christmas drop. We are going snowflakes.svg. Hey, okay. So that's good. Nice. And then this is like, oh, look at that. And then I want to export it. Select layer. What did Josh say to do? When you select your group in Figma, you can export it immediately in the right-click menu. Flatten. Auto layout. Right menu bar. Right menu bar. Export. Yeah, we can do it as a PNG. Why not? I mean, no, we'll keep it in SVG. Actually, before I do that, let's change it to white. Yeah. Export vector. Snowflake 1. We should really have like a images directory. It's getting messy. Snowflake 1. Cool. This is going to be Snowflake 2. I'm dreaming of a #FFFF Christmas, just like the one I used to know. Did we do SVG or did we do PNG? There you go. Snowflake 2. Who are you calling Snowflake 1? There's our Snowflake 2. And then this is Snowflake 3. Figma is incredibly easy. I should have been using this all along. Export vector. Snowflake 3.svg. Those two are the same. Those two are the same. Wow, there's only 4 different ones. That's fine though. It doesn't really matter. And then really we want to increase this. Nope, don't do that. How do I maintain aspect ratio? Oh, not that. Hold shift. There we go. Hello, STNX. I've been streaming for about an hour now. This is 158 by 146. 142. This is 162. That doesn't really look like a snowflake though, does it? Kind of looks like a leaf. That's fine. Some people will have an ugly snowflake, and that's not a bad thing. Export. Snowflake 4. With all this holiday talk, I'm uploading all the popular Christmas movies to my media server. I actually watched The Santa Claus with Tim Allen a few weeks ago. That is I was gonna say it's great. It's probably not the great. It's a nice. It's a cool movie. I watched it a lot as a kid. I remember watching it as a kid, and identifying very much with his young son. And then like this one, like this is just a smaller version, and that's a smaller version, and that's the same one. That's fine. We have 4 snowflakes. It's all good. All right, we'll close Figma. Close that. We have Alka's emote, and there they are. So right now, I just want to get the I want to get the drop on the screen. So we're gonna get Alka. We'll put him in the middle of the screen. He's there, and then we need to have a snowflake directly behind him. So we'll just do an image. SRC is images slash. Ooh. We'll do snowflake 1. And then we'll need to style this drop. So for now, we're just going to put it in the middle of the screen so we can get it looking nice. And then we'll programmatically add new drops when commands come in. For now, position fixed. Top 50%. Left 50%. And there's that. Great. But now we actually want we want Alka to be in the direct center right on top of that snowflake. So let's give them some nested classes. So we'll have drop, and actually let's give this a class of drop, just because there's going to be a lot of them. So we'll say the thing with the class drop does that. And then we'll call this snowflake. And we will call this emote. So the emote should have position fix, or position absolute. Whoa. What's it? Oh, it has the same class as all the other snowflakes. So it's doing that. Let's call this drops. I need to say the, well, no. All the styles for the snowflake are overriding it. We'll call it snowflake background. Snowflake BG. Just so that stops happening. And then we need snowflake BG to have position absolute. There we go. Wonderful. And we'll make the drop just a flex box, so that way we can center Alka directly in the middle. We'll say display flex, justify content center, align items center. So he's there. Why is he behind the snowflake though? Shouldn't he be in front of the snowflake? Well, that does nothing. we can set the z index though. That should do it. So if we say snowflake bg, well, actually we'll just do and let's do this so it's more specific. But we'll say drop emote has a z index of 1. Look at that. Very nice. And let's make the emote just have a width of 50%, so it's like half of the snowflake. Yeah, now it's like dead center. And let's make the overall drop just have a width of, I don't know, 50 pixels. Is that too small? Oh, and then the snowflake will need a width 100%. Height, auto. Yep, that's too small. So let's make it 75 pixels. Make it a little bigger. Make it 125 pixels. The thing to think about is there are going to be a lot of them on my screen. So let me show you what it would look like if he was actually on my screen. Is that too big? And I realize right now the screen is like totally gray. I'm gonna hide it in a second. Is that too big? Is the size okay? Hello, Pranjal. Welcome. Since there's no parachute, it can be slightly bigger. I agree. Yeah, why not? Let's go 1. And actually, we could do relative to the. I don't think we have any other static pixels. Yeah, let's go relative to vmin. So we'll say width is 10 vmin. We'll go 20 vmin. And if I show it on the overlay, we're gonna, I realize you can't see me. Well, actually, you should be able to see me in a second. Here, I'll make the background transparent. Instead of 20 vmin, we're gonna go 15 vmin. I think that's good. I think that's a good size because there's gonna be lots of little snowflakes running around. Great. And then we need to show the person's name on top of it. So let us do that. That's it. That's the one. That's the winner. Do we show the name above, below? And if we show it above, do we just give it like a negative top? I don't know, but let's do this. We'll just have like a p tag. Oh yeah, I'll definitely add some CSS animation where it'll just like rotate back and forth like this. But also it's going to be bouncing, so there's going to be those physics associated with it. Here's what we'll do. We'll say the drop name has well, actually we'll just we'll say color. It's white. Oh, it's because we have a flex box. I see. But then we'll just say the position is absolute. There we go. Font size. 5 vmin. There's Alka. Right now we'll do font family is sans serif. And this needs to be on top of everything. So we'll give it a z index of 2. Should be on top. Can I say top 0? Curious how it's even working. Let's let's debug it in the browser. I'm gonna hide it on the overlay. We need to change the background back. Okay. So there's the snowflake. Let's do this. So the snowflake has position absolute, and it is just filling the filling the drop. The name, oh, there is some automatic padding, I think, by the browser, or some automatic margin. Yeah, the browser is giving it, don't use a P. Yeah, I'll just do this. Everything, no margin and no padding. I mean, technically I could have just used a span or something like that. Cool. So that removes the margin and the padding. Cool. So now that's there, but if we give it a negative top, it should appear above, I believe. I'll turn the overlay back on. Well. Show to position, or is it display? What's the property? I forget. Box sizing border box. Okay, I can do that. Now, let's say the top is a negative 5 vmin. Look at that. Let's go with a negative 10 vmin. That's too much. Cool. I like it. However, what happens if we have a really long name? Like coding garden with CJ. Is it just, yeah, it's across like that. But what if we have something that's like coding garden with CJ? Then it appears like that. So for one, we definitely want to do text align center. So it should center it. But how do we get it to always be above the snowflake? Can we do negative 100%? Is that a thing? So if we look at the HTML, name is inside of drop. We want name to appear outside of it, but take into account it's basically its calculated height based on the content of it. How can we do that? Can we do a transform? Translate y negative 50%. Negative 75, cool. And so if this is just something like alka, it's not enough. Did I have any other weird properties on there? Have the text in another element within .drop, .name that is positioned to bottom 0. Oh, and give it a height of 100%, and that way it'll always bump it up. So have the text in another element within drop, name. Okay, so and then this span should be positioned bottom 0. What's that gonna do? Oh, something interesting happened. Bottom 100%. Oh, hello, chat. If drop.name has 0 height, the inner element should use bottom 0, should align the bottom edge. Oh. So literally no height, and then bottom 0 puts it there. Okay. Set .name to top 0. Eh. We should, I guess, give it a width of 100%. I'm curious what's let's look in the browser. I'm curious why the name is like slightly to the right. Here's our drop. Here's the p tag, which is, oh, well, I don't know. And then there's a span inside of it. Yeah, width might not work. Okay, so we could, I think we can do some sort of transform to get it directly in the center though, right? I think if we do a similar trick with translate x negative 50%, because it looks like it's aligning the middle with the left edge. Let's see. But yeah, let's get rid of that width. Okay, so shorter text, it does that. Let's try with span coding garden with CJ. Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. We just need to get it to center. So if we take the span and do a transform, translate x negative 50%, will that center it? Would you look at that? Would you look at that? I do want it to be like a little bit above. So you can see right there, like the CJ is overlapping. Now, would you look at that? If we do alka, it's just like a little bit overlapping. So we need to bump it up just a little bit. I mean, look at it. We have, so if I do bottom 110%, is that a thing? So now top 0 should be top -5, and it -5 pixels. -5. Wait. So I'm just trying to think where we're using v height and view height and view min, because yeah, the tree has a width of 10 view width. So, well, no, and then the snowflake. Oh, the snowflake is actually I think a fixed. No, we have width 15 vmin. Okay, so if we do -5 vmin, that's probably way too much. Yeah, but if we do like -1, -2, -3, I think that's perfect. And so that's always relative to the view width and height, the smaller of the two. So if we look at it in the browser with like a slightly different width and height, look at that. It resizes beautifully. It stays right where it needs to. And if we make it say Coding Garden with CJ, oh, you can't see my screen. Sorry. let me show you. We'll hide that. But if you look at it in the browser, you'll notice that Alka is like right on top of the snowflake, and now like no matter what, no matter how small it is, Alka stays right on top of the snowflake, and that's exactly what we want. Cool. And then let's try it with a longer name, and I think we should be good. Look at that, Beautimus. Can someone? I'd make the text smaller to leave it. Yeah, I think I will. We were just doing that to make sure it looked decent enough. Okay. Let's turn the overlay on. And we will reduce that font size, and then also choose a font. I kind of like the gaming font that I was using for the drop game that's happening right now. But where are we? Font size 3.5 vmin. Yeah, that's not bad. I guess what's also interesting is what if there are no spaces? It'll just be really long like that, and that's fine too. Actually, I don't know. I don't know what you're referencing, but yeah. And thanks for the follow, Heroic Slime, and thanks for the follow, Humble Constructs. Welcome to the stream. We're working on a drop game. If you probably haven't seen before, but you see these drops that are happening. This is the if they land in the center here, you get on the leaderboard. And if it lands in the center, it grows a nice little seedling. But we're trying to make a Christmas theme one, which will look like this. We just got the snowflake going. And basically it's going to be a very similar game, but now if the snowflake lands on the tree, then that your emote or your emoji will be a little ornament on the tree. So that'll be fun. Okay. So that's great. Let us find a good font. I think I might actually just use the same font for the current drop game because I really like that. It's like a gaming pixelated font. Yeah, I haven't seen the Look at That video. So this is Press Start font. We'll use that. Let's just add a link. And then we can see in the styles where it's added. We'll just set that as the font on the body. And then let's remove the font on the drop element, on the name element, this. So there we go, we have that. And now, I want the text shadow, this thingy. So that'll give it some nice black shadow. Are you ready for it? You can't tell it's there, but if we're on like a white screen, Google, yeah, there we go. There's a nice like text shadow on the name itself. Cool. I think we're doing good. All right, now let's just do a little CSS animation where it's kind of like rotating like this back and forth. Here we go. So we want to animate the drop. What should we call it? It's gonna look similar to what the parachute is doing, but instead of rotating from the top, it's literally gonna like rotate left and right, I think, like that. See you later, Alka. Are you about to? Yeah, Alka is about to stream. So if you want to go watch real coding, feel free to tune into Alka's stream. Pranjal is saying, I have a web app where I search for items present in the store. I want to show the results even if a user does a typo. Real coding? I actually don't know what this is called. But yeah, there's a name for it. Potentially fuzzy searching, but if you just search the web for like typo searching, there's a specific algorithm you can use that will detect if certain letters are a given distance from. I don't know if it's fuzzy search, but it's something like that. Cool. All right, let's call this. What do we call it? Rotate. It'll take a second. Infinite. Something like that. And then we need a rotate animation. I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to look at the seedling drop to see how we did its back and forth. Yeah, so this is the swaying animation. Oh, fuzzy search? Okay, cool. Let's call it sway. That's a better name for it. And if we do that, so we'll say sway, 1 second infinite. Let's see how we were applying it before. Alternate, ease in out. So alternate makes it so that it, yeah, you'll see how right now it's like resetting. But if you do alternate, then it will nicely go back and forth between each. Not bad, actually. Yeah, I think by default, the transform origin is like directly in the center. So I think that's okay. It's fine with me. All right, now let's make it fall. So right now we're like listening for messages and all that. Let's just do this. We'll say function do drop. This is gonna take in like the image that we want to drop, potentially the user's name too. People are talking about color swatches. What was the question? Estyanix is saying, how do you get the color swatches to show up in your editor for hex colors? Oh, that's actually, yeah, that's built into VS Code by default. This thing here. I think that's what you're talking about. How my CSS file will actually show the color right next to it. That. I believe that's just built in. But yeah. Okay, we're doing the drop with the name and the URL. We need to create a drop. Create a drop element. We'll pass in the name and the URL. We need a function, create drop element. And basically, we want to create this HTML here, like a div with class drop. I think I'm just going to use a template string, but let's create a drop element, which is going to be document.createElement. We're going to create a div, and then we'll say drop element dot inner HTML. Actually, we'll do. Can we do outer HTML? No, we'll do inner HTML. It's going to be this stuff. However, we don't need the outer div. We're just going to add the drop class to the parent. Something like that. And then we'll say drop element dot class list.add drop. So we're going to add the drop class to it. We'll set the inner HTML. We want to put the actual name right there. And then we want to put the actual image URL right here instead of just Alka. The other thing is we want a random number between 1 and 4 because we have 4 different little snowflakes that we can use. Oh, we can't preview them, but basically random number between 1 and 4, and we'll choose that snowflake. So snowflake num is going to be math.floor of math.random times 3. No, times 4. That will give us a number between 0 and 4. So we'll do 3. That'll give us a number between 0 and 3, potentially. No, if we're always taking the floor, math.random gives us a random value between 0 and 1. So if the random value is 1, 3 is going to be our max number. Cool. And then we'll add 1. Please confirm my logic there. Yeah. See you later, Imaginary Warhawks. Thanks for hanging out. Have a wonderful evening. Okay, so we pass in a random snowflake number, and that should be a random value between 1 and 4. Cool. Then we'll return this drop element. So we'll say drop element equals, let's just call it element, create drop element. We need to keep track of all the drops. Let's just say this is an array. And then we're going to push into the drops array. So we'll say drops.push. This object is going to represent the drop. We'll have the element on there so we can modify it. And then we'll say the velocity. The x velocity should be a random value. Actually, yeah, x velocity should be a random value between, I don't know, we'll figure that out. Let's just say math.random times 10. And the y velocity must be positive because we're going down. So again, this will just be like math.random times 10. However, x could potentially be negative or positive. So let's do this. We're going to take that value and potentially multiply it by -1. So we'll say if math.random is greater than 0.5, then -1, otherwise 1. So 50% chance that it will be a negative x velocity rather than a positive x velocity. And then we'll also have the drops position. And the x needs to be a random value between 0 and the width of the screen. So we'll say math.random. Yep, I am American. I live in Denver, Colorado. Math.random times window.inner width. And we'll do math.floor of that. So it'll be a random value between 0 and the width of the window. And then our x position, or sorry, our y position just needs to be a negative height of the element, so it appears above the screen. So we'll say element dot client height minus 100. So that way above the screen, and then another 100. Okay, so we have its velocity, we have its position. I think that's all we need. And then we just need a game loop that will gradually update its position based on its velocity. Yeah, why not? So here's what I'm going to do. When the page loads, I'm going to say do drop. Yeah, we're not really doing any of the TMI.js stuff just yet, but pretty soon we'll tap into chat. But when the page loads, we'll say do drop with Alka and his emote. This thing. Here. Cool. And then we need a game loop. So the game loop is going to call update, and then it's going to call draw, and then it's going to call itself. So we'll do request animation frame with the game loop. Our update function will update an element's position based on its velocity. So our function update will loop over all of the drops, which is an array. Drops.for each drop. We'll say drop.position.x plus equals drop.velocity.x, and then drop.position.y plus equals drop.velocity.y. Yep, and I do plan to use TMI.js. That's what I'm going to use to listen for the drop messages. But right now, I'm just gonna make sure that I can actually get the snowflake dropping, and then we'll tap into chat messages that are coming in. So for each one, we update the position. Eventually, we'll do collision detection. But for now, we're just gonna update it. And then we'll do our draw. And then again, for each drop, we're not going to update the position, but we're going to set their position on the screen. So I'll say drop.element.style.top is drop.position.y pixels, and the left style.left is drop.position.x minus the width of the element. Divided by 2. So drop.element.client width divided by 2. Just like that. And nothing's happening. I'm gonna hide the overlay, and we'll debug it in the browser. Let's give it this background color. Let's watch it. Oh, we have to actually add the element to the page. we didn't actually do that. So we created the element here, and I think what we'll do is, after we've pushed it, then we're gonna say document.body.append child element. Oh, there's Alka. So if we look at him, the drop class let's look at the console. No errors in the console. I just want to make sure in my HTML, did I get rid of? Yeah, so the HTML doesn't have that anymore. If we look at the drop element, we'll definitely get rid of top and left, because that should be set by JavaScript. And we are not seeing its style property updated. So let's look at our JavaScript. So we're saying, so we pushed it into the array. Oh, we have to actually call our game loop. Oh, so it was happening. Let's try it again. So the drop is there. We can see the top. Yeah, it's happening. It's just dropping way too fast. So let's adjust our initial velocity. We'll just do like ×4 instead of ×10. Yeah. So there he is. And we'll need to add collision detection. So if it hits the side, it bounces off, all that good stuff. Brandon is saying, why not do math.random times 20 minus 10 instead of the ternary? The smallest possible value there would be -20. Sorry, -10. I don't know. We would have to take into account potentially the width of the window, but what this does is potentially a 50% chance of being a negative number, and that would just be a negative x velocity. So, I mean, to me, that's a little bit simpler. I don't know. Okay, now we need collision detection. Honestly, though, I've been streaming for 1 hour and 46 minutes, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take my existing seedling drop code, use that, because then we're going to get to the hard part, which is when it hits the tree, it needs to actually like leave an ornament there. So I'm going to cheat. Hopefully you don't mind. Basically, yeah, and this had some special functions like get left, get right, get top, get bottom, get center. All of those could definitely come in handy, so let's use them. Basically, these are reusable functions that we're going to add to this element when we push it into the array. And this code was actually added by Terrazoid, but you can see what they're doing is this object here, we're setting its prototype to be that object so that it can actually use those functions. So right here, this drop element gets the drop prototype. And then, like in our update function, something like this, the drop.position.x minus drop.element.clientWidth divided by 2. Is giving us the left edge. Drop.location. Yeah, so I'm using location instead of position. But basically, we could use that get left function. So I could say drop.get left. And then we need to update the prototype here. Instead of location, should be position. Cool. Cool. And so that should still work. Position.y is get top. So we'll use that function here too. Cool. Let's make sure it still works. There's Alka. But now we need collision detection. Yeah, so this is interesting. This is some code that got added that does is doing detection to see if it collides with any of the other the drops that are on the page. And we're not going to do that just yet. But this is to check to see if it's hit the bottom. We want to check and see if it hits the side edge. This is it right here. Browser edges. So in update, we update the position, and then we need to do this. So if the left edge of the drop, or the snowflake, is less than 0, then we basically need to flip the x velocity so it bounces back this way. And then if the right edge is greater than or equal to the width of the window, we flip the x velocity. So this should give us edge detection. Let's see. Oh, well, let's do it again. Bounce, bounce, cool. And now we need to detect if it hits the Christmas tree. And so what I can do really quick is we'll listen for messages here. And actually, I'm just gonna log message because log tags too. One of these has information about if there were any emotes associated with the drop, and if that's the case, we can show the emote. And I'm not gonna do emoji parsing just yet. Okay, so that's funny. Let's go down here. And if you would, please do some drop messages. So yeah, so this is tags. Tags.emotes is null. If tags.emotes is not null, then there was an emote. Yeah, so pogface. I think that's the wrong emote name. Yeah, and I don't think I'll implement drop me just yet because I'd have to make a Twitch API call. Is pogface a regular Twitch emote, or is that like a what do you call it? Like a better Twitch TV emote or something like that? But here we go. So if the tags.emotes has some properties, then oh, no worries. Okay. So but if tag.emotes is not null, then we know that there's an image URL. However, I think I will hit the API. What image? There we go. We're dropping a snowflake. What image should I show if they didn't specify an emote or me? Like, what should be the default thing? I guess it could just be a snowflake. Like, there's literally no image inside of the snowflake. Snowflake inception. Snowflake inside of a snowflake. Actually, I could just do a random snowflake inside of the snowflake. I think that's what I'm gonna do. But here, we'll say this. So if tags.emotes is a thing, then we're gonna do drop with the tags at display name. And actually, oh, I lost, I need to preserve log here. I don't want to lose these logs. Do more drops, please, so I can see the logs. And preferably with emotes. Yeah, so drop me, no emotes, PogChamp. And I do want to see, so display name is a thing. And username. I think display name could be empty. So I actually want to say display name or username. So tags at display name or tags.username. I think that's a thing. And then we'll do the drop with the name, and then we need to grab a random emote. So tags.emotes is an object. If we say object.keys, that's going to give us all the emote IDs. And then we need a random one. Yeah, so that's emote IDs. And then the emote ID we'll just say is emote IDs at math.random times emote IDs dot length. And we want to do math.floor of that. So that should give us a random emote. So if you specify multiple emotes, we're just going to choose one of them at random. That gives us the emote ID, and then we can construct the emote URL using this thing. And your emote ID goes right there. Oh. Cool. So if there were emotes, we do that. If there were no emotes, we are just going to drop a snowflake inside of a snowflake. We'll reuse our logic to get a random snowflake number. And so the URL will be images/snowflake num. And this should be a template string. Okay, I think that should do it. If anyone else drops, we should actually see them on the screen, hopefully. And thanks for the follow, C19946. Oh, look at that. There's Majestic Eye. Yeah, I don't have any checks around if a drop has already happened. Oh, wow. That's... that has, like, no negative velocity. That's going to be going forever. It's a bop. we kind of need we need like a minimum y velocity. So let's just say that thing plus 2. So it's always at least has a y velocity of 2. Of at least 2. Ooh, that was fast. It's funny because I have this drop going the same time as the other drop. Yeah, and that's technically a snowflake inside of a snowflake. You just couldn't see it. Yeah, that's a snowflake inside a snowflake. Cool. So that's great. We can essentially detect if it hit the bottom of the screen. And then we'll just stop it there. And then we can work on detecting if it hits the tree. Then we leave the ornament there, which is going to be the emote and the person's name. Okay, cool. We're making progress. Yeah, I can get rid of this. Well, I'll leave it there as a sample. I'll just add like a message here. To do. Drop me. This is going to be Twitch API user avatar. And then also to do drop some emote like that. Or emoji. Cool. So here, if it hits the left edge, if it hits the right edge, now we can detect to see if it hits the bottom of the screen. But really, first we want to detect to see if it has reached the tip of the Christmas tree. Like, essentially, once it gets right here, is when we want to start checking as if it's on the Christmas tree or if it is not even within the bounds of the Christmas tree, and we'll stop it. So else if drop.get bottom, is that a thing? Yeah, get bottom gets the Y position plus the height. Cool. So if get bottom is greater than or equal to the tree, we need to get a reference to the tree. And that has an ID of tree. So let's just put that in our JavaScript. So we have the tree. And we'll say, if my Y position is greater than or equal to, so Y position starts at 0 and we're gradually increasing to the width, the height of the window. So if the bottom is greater than or equal to window dot inner height minus tree dot client height, meaning the height is going to be like, if you're all the way at the bottom, minus the tree height is the top of the tree. We're just going to log, and actually when we do a drop, we're going to put the name in here. Let's call it username. Uh, 0, 0 is the top left corner of the screen. Upper left. So here we'll say drop.username is below tree. And then we'll just say if it has reached the bottom of the screen, we're going to stop it and just set it there. So we'll say drop.position. Well, let's just say drop.velocity.y equals 0. Drop.velocity.x equals 0. So it's going to stop moving. And then we're just going to reset its position to be directly at the bottom. So we'll say drop.position.y equals window.inner height minus drop.element.client height. So that should put it directly at the bottom of the screen. And then we will remove it from the array. And actually, let's just set a property on it. We'll say drop.done equals true. And then at the beginning of our update here, we'll say if drop.done, return. Similarly, when we're drawing, if it's done, well, no, doesn't matter. Okay, now when they hit the bottom of the screen, they should stop. And thank you, Sanjay or Sanjay. So basically, I have this drop game here, but we're rewriting it to make it Christmas themed. And the idea is, and hopefully it's going to stop. It stops! Yay! It stops. So the idea is, if it hits the tree, then it'll be like putting an ornament on the tree. Cool. There's drops happening all over the place. So one thing we'll do is whenever it drops, we'll remove that animation class so it'll stop moving back and forth. So that's easy enough. Actually, let's just add another class. We'll say like drop.done. Animation none. So it should stop animating back and forth like that. And then we'll add the class right here whenever it is done. We'll say drop.element.classlist.add done. So now when it hits the bottom, it should stop animating. So I'm using TMI.js to listen for chat messages, and this is actually just a browser source overlay in OBS. So the current drop game you're seeing is a browser source, and it should stop animating. Cool, no more animation. Awesome. And I can enable it. Let's enable it. I'll disable the current drop game, and then enable this drop game. So the idea is eventually it's just going to be an overlay like that. Yeah, but basically inside of OBS, I just have it pointed at, where to go? This URL here, so that it actually loads the web page. Bob wins. Yeah, like, Bob, you probably would have gotten a star on top of the tree. And now that I see it, I think the snowflakes are a little bit too big. Let's bring them down just a little bit. Width 12 vmin. Wait. Oh, did that only refresh the styles? Interesting. Even smaller. Even smaller. We'll do a little bigger. I think 8 is okay. Cool. Yeah, and I realize you can't see me right now. Basically, when it's an overlay, I have to set the background to transparent so that it'll actually go through. Cool. So one thing we should do is the snowflakes should get gradually smaller once they're at the bottom. Are they pulsating? They shouldn't be pulsating. Make the names a little bit smaller. I can do that. I'll decrease the font size. Hello, Angel. Welcome. I think it's a little better. Let me refresh the entire browser source because now you can't see any of the names. Okay, let's see some more drops. There's Andrew Lane. Cool. And actually, the drops should have a higher Z index than the snow, because once they get to the bottom, they're behind the snow. They are glitching? That's not good. Okay, but regardless, what we need to do is actually drop.done isn't going to have a none animation. It's going to have a shrink animation. So it needs to like shrink away to nothing after like 30 seconds. So let's create an animation called shrink. And we're going to say transform scale 1 to scale 0. And the animation is going to be shrink over, let's say, 30 seconds. Ease in, out. So yeah, they should start shrinking. And one thing we'll do in the JavaScript is when we add the done class, we'll set a timeout to just totally remove it from the page after 30 seconds. So let's do set timeout 30 seconds. Say document dot body dot remove child drop dot element, and we need to reset the drops to not have that drop in it anymore. Let's make this let. So we'll say drops equals drops dot filter. D does not equal this drop. And that should like remove it from the array. I mean, technically we can remove it from the array immediately after. The only issue is I do want it to keep drawing because we set the position here, and then I do want it to at least set its final position there. This should be fine. What could go wrong? Here, let me refresh this again. Majestic Eye has a clip for us. They're glitching? We're gonna say transform. It needs to like shrink away for like 30 seconds. Oh, I see. So let's create yeah, they're like shaking. That's not cool. I think it's because I'm still updating their position. I think that's why. We'll say if drop.done drop.final equals true, and if drop.final, maybe they're cold, yeah. Return. I think that should help. I think what was happening was because draw was basically constantly setting their position to be the exact same place. Let's see if it happens. Give them a scarf. So I mean, they might glitch on the way down. That's just like the nature of the animation that we're doing. But when it stops, is it glitching? Please let me know. I can't really see it from here. Let me do this. I'm gonna hide the overlay and just like debug it in the browser. The ones in the center by the tree? These are not glitching to me. I don't know what's different about them. Sanjay is asking, I'm pretty new to JavaScript. Do you mind explaining the difference between let, const, and var? I'm pretty much only working in Lua, so I'm just used to locals. Sure. So let and const are sort of new to JavaScript. They came out in 2015. They look fixed? Okay, we'll go with it. But let and const came out in 2015. They're still gradually catching on. Not everyone is using them. And var is kind of like the old way of doing things. But basically, I don't use var at all. And let creates a variable that can be reassigned. And so the reason I changed this from const to let is because I wanted to reassign that array to be a new array without that specific drop inside of it. So I was doing a filter to remove it and then reassigning it because in my update and my draw, I'm iterating over it. And then const is anything that cannot be reassigned. So like this is the tree element on the page. I made it a const. These are some functions. I made them a const. So let can be reassigned, const cannot be reassigned. There are some other implications when you're dealing with scope in JavaScript. So in JavaScript, there's this idea of hoisting, where if you declare a variable with var, like this, what actually happens is this variable declaration gets hoisted to the top of the scope at runtime. And so this variable, it's essentially like you declared a variable at the top with no value, and then down here you set the value. So when you use var, it does hoisting. With this, you can run into weird issues because you'll notice that because the JavaScript engine did this, you might have tried to use thing in here, and if you tried to use it in here, it's not actually defined until we get to this line of code. So that's one thing. With let and const, they technically they get hoisted, but there's this thing known as the temporal dead zone where you actually can't use the variable above where it's declared. So basically let and const work more like other languages and more like you're used to in programming, which is why we use them all the time. But const can't be reassigned, let can be reassigned. That said, a const variable can be mutated, right? So if this is an object, like technically drop prototype is an object, I could add new properties to this all day long because it's still mutable, but you can't reassign it. For making it immutable, there's things like object.freeze and stuff like that, but I don't know. Hopefully that helped. All right. I'm kind of avoiding this, but we need to now detect if it landed on the tree and then leave an ornament. Cool. And also I'll get rid of my extra logging. Yeah, below the tree. We don't need to know that. So that's fine. Yeah, I'm going to stop logging whenever a drop actually happens. Okay, so if it... How do I even do this? So, if it comes within... I mean, basically, like, we can detect the square around the tree. Like, that's easy enough to do, right? We can detect if the drop has come within this square. But what's harder to do is to detect if it's actually... hit the side of the tree and not the side of the square. Okay, so I don't think I saved the... Can you send that message again, Majestic Eye? I'll just take a look at it. Because basically, like, that, the moment it hit right here, we would have put that little emote on the tree. And thanks for the follow, Beerman5000. Welcome to the show. All right, let's check it out. So this is doing basically, like, triangle collision detection. Oh. All right, so there's a lot going on here. They are using P5, but let's see. Create a triangle. I'm curious, like, if we actually put the SVG elements on the page, because right now I'm just showing it as an image, but I wonder if SVG has any sort of collision detection. Collision detection with SVG. Because if we actually embedded the, well, I guess it could be possible. Basically, if we made the entire page in SVG and we just let SVG do the collision detection for us, that'd be great. Basic bounding box collision detection is the fastest way to detect a collision. Based on simple bounding box. Yeah. It gets tricky, though. I mean, really, we could create, like, smaller boxes here. Basically for, like, each of the layers of the tree. Let's look at the SVG code for the tree, because that could actually come in handy. And it'd be really easy, because basically we could just say each layer of the tree is a box, and does it collide with that box? And it really wouldn't matter if it's just, like, slightly above the box here. So let's see. So we have some paths, some polygons. We have a group. I have no idea what any of these are. Let's open it up with Figma and see if we can actually see the layers inside of it. So yeah, I think if we have multiple rectangles, we can just detect that. Hello, Be Monstrous. I'm doing pretty good. We're working on an overlay game. And thanks for the follow, Vuthan Crazy. Welcome. All right, let's open this tree. Well, not that. That. Okay. Enhance. there's one layer. Can we like ungroup it? Ungroup. Can we expand it? Oh, there we go. Okay, so that's a path. Ooh. These are like nested triangles. Like if I hide that one, it's like triangles on top of triangles. That's like a tiny tree. Okay. Now, the tricky thing is we're dynamically allowing the tree to be resized, right? So like depending on the width and the height of the window, the tree gets bigger and smaller. So that makes it harder to have like predefined bounding boxes for each of the layers. Bob is suggesting SAT.js. Let's take a look. Performing 2D collision detection. The separating axis theorem. Collisions between circles, convex polygons. Cool. Yeah, I think the only issue is I would probably have to rewrite all of my code to use a library like this, because I'm just using vanilla JavaScript and DOM manipulation, which is not a bad thing, but it might be more work than it's potentially worth. You know, one thing we can do is do like a rectangle collision detection, and then just put the ornament on the tree. I'm curious though. Let's do this. So this is I'm actually going to take this SVG code and put it directly in my HTML. So instead of having an image tag, we can basically select all of the elements inside of the SVG and determine if we've collided with those. I think that might be the way to go. So let's do this. Instead of an image tag, we just have like a div with ID tree. And we put the SVG in there. Put the ornament at the height it collided. But then, oh, look at that. But then we would have to determine like how far in it goes in. Let's see. It is not resizing at all. That's okay. We'll figure it out. So we do have a position fixed, bottom 0, left 0, width 10, view width, height auto. We may need to apply that directly to the SVG though. Yeah, let's see what happens. So if we, instead of putting it inside of a div, do an SVG with an ID of tree. Hey, it works. All right. So now, if we go inside of the SVG, there's definitions, all kinds of paths. Don't really need those, I guess. There's a group. Okay, so if we select each of the shapes in the group, there's a nested group. There's that group, which is the what's that called? I'm getting tired. The wood part of the tree. We don't want that. Okay, so we have that path. The trunk. There we go. That's the word. So I think we can just say select all the paths. So that's one path. That's another path. That's another path. That's another path. Another path. Another path. Cool. It's a trunk. Cool. And so what I'm thinking we do is basically we're going to take each of these paths and use its rectangle to see if we've collided with them. So we're going to check all of those paths. But let's do this. Store as a global variable. And then do we have the ability to say client width 0? That's unfortunate. Client height. Get client rex. What does this do? DOM rectangle. Oh, okay. This gives us the X position, the Y position, the width, and the height. Okay. I think we can use this. I think that's what we'll do. So I think basically to do collision detection with the tree, we need to iterate over all of the paths that are inside of the groups here. So we'll say G path. And we can ignore this one because that's the trunk. Okay. Let's do it. Let's drink some water first. So, tree parts. We're going to say tree.querySelector all for all the paths that are nested inside of two groups. So it goes G, and then path. And this one we actually want to ignore. Honestly, it's okay though. But so if we select all the GG paths, and then we can iterate over each one in our collision detection to see if we are have collided with it. So at this point, we are either at the top or below the tree. So now we can iterate over all the parts to see if we've collided. And this actually detects to see if it's at the complete bottom of the screen. So let's just do tree parts dot for each part. And let's log part dot, what was that function? Get client rectangles. Let's log the part and that. And really we want to say if the drop element and we have the left edge, get bounding client rect. Okay, yeah, what's the difference between get client rex and get bounding client rect? Get bounding client rect returns the size of an element and its position relative to the viewport. Okay. Get client rects returns a collection of DOM rectangle objects that indicate the bounding rectangles for each CSS border box in a client. Okay, so we don't want multiple rectangles. We want the rectangle. And let's see if I still have that stored here. So, oh, something's happening because I am doing logs here. We'll do that. Get bounding client rect. Okay, so if a drop happens and it gets below this point, we should start seeing those logs happening. Yep, cool. And that's like a direct object that has a left and a width. Yeah, I think we're close. I think this will do it. Influke asks, could you say how long it would take to make an open world game like Skate 3 with a team? I have no idea. I don't actually do like real game development. I will say there are pre-existing game engines out there that they use, so they don't really have to write everything from scratch. I think a lot of it is creating custom models and like 3D objects that can be imported into the game world. But yeah, I really don't know enough to talk about that. Get the dimension of a path in SVG. Cool. I think I'm going to use this. I think we're good. So we have the left coordinate. We can add the width to get the right coordinate. So let's say this. That's the rect. And we really don't want to do a for each. We want to see if we've collided with any of the tree parts. So let's say has hit tree. If any one of these returns true, then we know we've hit the tree and we can basically stop moving. So if has hit tree, else do that stuff. So we have the rect, and we'll say if rect dot left, which is going to be the left edge of that rectangle. Dot sum is an array method. And so actually, I want to do this. I want to spread it into an array so I can use sum. But sum is an array method that will return true if at least one of the functions you pass it returns true. So if some of them return true, at least one, it returns. And it returns early. So the moment we find a part that returns true, it's going to stop iterating. It's kind of like a break statement in a for loop. Okay, so if the left edge pull... No, we'll say if drop dot get left is greater than or equal to rect dot left, and drop dot get right is less than or equal to rect dot right. So right, left. We are inside of it, so we can stop. And I think we only need to check the right and the left because we've already determined that we are below the tree because we're checking if we're below the tree right here. So if we are below the tree and we're now within it, we've hit it. So I'm just gonna return this whole thing. So I'll just say return. And actually, let me do this. So I'm gonna compute this ahead of time. Well, no. We'll just do it every time because we could potentially resize the browser and then it would have a different bounding rectangle. Okay, so if it's hit the tree, we're gonna do something very similar. We're just gonna stop it where it is. The only thing is, so let's do this. If it's hit the tree or that, we basically want to do all of this, and we don't want to reset the position. If not, so we'll say if has not hit the tree, but it's at the bottom, set the bottom. Otherwise, it's done. This is it. Let's watch it happen. So basically, if it and actually, let me do this. I'm gonna put set it on the overlay. Let me clear the cache. So if it hits the tree, looks like Majestic Eye is going to hit the tree, should immediately stop wherever it hits the tree. Wow! And now we could do a calculation. Like we could say like, that was a perfect drop. We should put a star on the top of the tree. So that's great. So any of the other ones, it works. Yeah, that was too easy. Any of the other ones are going to hit the bottom of the screen. So that's great. Here, Daniel might make it on the tree. Nope. Huh. This is a very hard drop game. I think you hit. No, you were technically below. Yeah, and there's no timeout, so you can just like drop like crazy, and there's no collision detection between each other. Yeah, this kind of works. This kind of works. Wow, the odds are not in your favor. So sometimes something weird like this happens. So basically, because um, it technically was like on the edge of the square, it stopped. Yeah. And so I think one thing we want to do is if if it hit the tree, we're not going to remove it. We'll hide the snowflake and the emote will stay there. I think we will shrink your name. It's way too easy. It's way too easy to land as the star though. That's way too easy. But yeah, let's just clean it up. So um actually yeah, I'm going to go back to what I had. So cool. So if it hits the tree, we will add, we'll say done is true for sure. And we're going to add not the done class, but the ornament class, because it's going to become an ornament on the tree. And we will actually remove it from the array because we won't need to update it anymore. But we need to hide the name of the user after like 30 seconds. Make it to where if the velocity is too fast and it just passes right through the tree. I can do that. Yeah, I'm just going to do like a set timeout of 1 second. So after 1 second, remove it from the array. And now we need an ornament class. Or do something with the ornament class. So when we add ornament to the drop, we'll say dot drop ornament snowflake background is visibility none. So if it becomes an ornament, we want to hide the snowflake. Yeah, let me remove the background. There we go. So if it's an ornament, hide the snowflake background. That's great. And then we'll also say drop ornament name Well, that didn't work. Oh, sorry, visibility hidden. And then drop ornament name should shrink over 30 seconds. So the name should hide over 30 seconds. Oh, and drop ornament also has, well, drop ornament actually has animation none. Yep. So that does it. The name disappears. You have a nice little emote there. I think we've done it. It could definitely use some tweaks. And it seems like it's really easy to get it at the top of the tree versus like actually on the tree. Okay, here comes Daniel Garden. Nope. Let's increase the Y velocity a little bit. equals 5. Yash is saying, could you not set the collision box to a triangle to fit the tree? I've never really done anything like that. So basically what I ended up doing was we got the bounding rectangle of each layer of the tree, and we're determining if we've hit that bounding rectangle. So that's why it like can sit on the edge. Yeah, we could. Basically, if we reduce it by that much, it would actually like get stored on the tree. Yeah, that worked. Cool. I mean, but yeah, so if we reduce it, then it actually has to land a little bit inside of the tree instead of directly on the bounding box. Yeah. Cool. Now this is great. So basically throughout the stream, you can do your drops. We'll decorate the tree. And by the end of the stream, we'll have a bunch of little ornaments all over it. That's nice. I think, yeah, so I don't know if we want to do 10 pixels. We might want to do like a VMin or something like that. But basically that would happen right here. So if the left is greater than or equal to rect.left plus a certain number of pixels. So that way, instead of the exact edge of the bounding rectangle, it's a little bit in. Yeah. It's surprisingly hard to land on the Christmas tree, which I mean, I guess it's technically a good thing. Oh, there we go. Yeah, lots of drops. And one last thing that I'll add is oh, there we go. Daniel Garden made it on. Look at that. That's not bad. Yeah, so for the drop messages, I'm using TMI.js. So TMI.js is a JavaScript library for interfacing with the Twitch IRC client. And it's actually really easy. So, and right now I'm just using anonymous auth. So I'm just listening for messages on the Coding Garden channel. And then when a message comes in, if it begins with drop, I use it. But you can check out TMI. Super easy. And if you check it out on GitHub, the docs are being reworked, and they're currently working on version 2. So it can be hard to find resources, but I'll show you where you need to go. If you go to the docs repo, and then go to posts, and then look at the latest version, and then look at things like events. These are all the possible events that you can tap into, like when a chat happens, when a ban happens, when a cheer happens, and this has code samples for all of them. So check it out. You can use it with node.js, but if you want to use it in the browser, which is what I'm doing, I just downloaded the release from GitHub. So if you go to the, not docs repo, but to the actual library, and then go to releases, these are built for the browser. So in my project here, I just literally have tmi.min.js. And then I'll show you the code. Basically, anonymous auth. I don't have to provide a token or anything like that. I'm just listening for messages on the Coding Garden channel. Connect, and then when a message happens, Daniel I guess I missed it because I was looking at stuff. You should drop with emotes though, and so we don't just have snowflakes hanging on the tree. But yeah, listening for a message. If it starts with drop, you get access to emote IDs or anything that was in the message. And then I have my custom game logic. So yeah. As it passes through the tiers, its velocity is reduced. Wherever it has 0 velocity is where it stops. I like that. Yeah, so that way it potentially doesn't hang on the edge like this. Like, we'll actually reduce its velocity, and then it will end right there. Okay. All right, one of these has to land on the tree. We'll see. Well, there's Andrew Lane. Great. Nice. That's too many drops. Let's see what the Twitch chat looks like. Yep, that's way too much. Okay. I mean, and Daniel Garden is a mod, so he can spam the chat like that. All right, let's see how many hearts may actually make it onto the tree. Bob's a mod too. All my mods. It's actually kind of funny. Okay. let's wait for it to die down. Don't do it anymore because I am gonna add logic where you can only drop basically every 30 seconds. I made my computer freeze. Well, that's what you get, but you know. Yeah, you're right though, because now they will only ever land on the edge of the tree. So I think we should actually increase their exposition. Right? Because they're only ever appearing on the edges, but we want some of them to make it into the tree. Okay, let's figure that out. And then also, while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to prevent people from dropping. So we're just going to have an array of users. When someone drops... Yeah, and that's a good call. Yeah, it was a good test to see like what's actually happening here, and that's not ideal. So we're going to fix that. Show, when we do a drop, we'll say users at username equals true. And if they're already there, we just return. So we're not going to let them drop multiple times. And then down here, when we actually remove them, we'll say users at username equals false. And this is going to be drop.username. That is a box tree, yes. We're going to fix it. So there's that. And then technically, I do need to wait 30 seconds here, but that's the only thing I need to do, is just set it to false so that they can do that. Okay. So how do we fix just being on the edges? One thing is we, like Bob mentioned, we could decrease their both velocities. So if it's hit the tree and it's not done, well, it wouldn't have made it here if drop.done was true. But let's say if drop.velocity.x is less than or equal to 0, and drop.velocity.y is less than or equal to 0, then we will officially stop here and do that. Otherwise, then it's still falling and we want to decrease the velocity. How much do we decrease it by, though? Yeah. Best way is probably Twitter, because usually I stream on both YouTube and Twitch. Tonight I was trying just streaming on Twitch. There are a lot less viewers because I think like I have a lot of YouTube subs, and so they actually get the notification. Yeah. Eventually I'm gonna build like my own notification service, because I get a lot of people complaining that certain services don't notify them. Okay, so if the velocity is, we'll say if it's 0, then that means we're done. If we've hit the tree and the velocity is 0, that's great. And we will gradually decrease the velocity by a random amount, I think, and that will help with the boxing effect. So we'll say drop.velocity.x minus equals math.random times 2. Similar with y. Though, this could potentially cause it to bounce off of the tree. I think that's okay. Is that okay? And then y is always a downward velocity. But what could potentially happen here is if it's going, let's say it's going from this way and it hits, and then we reverse the velocity, then it's gonna go bounce off of the tree. McGillum is saying, make it easy, randomize a point within the bounding box and raycast to it at the same velocity. I don't know what raycasting is. So I'm just using DOM manipulation. Like this isn't any sort of physics engine or a game library. And basically what I did was I have all the rectangles that make up the tree, and I'm determining if we're inside of that rectangle. And I think the fix right now is basically if we're inside of it, we're going to slowly decrease our velocity, which should slow it down and eventually make it to 0. And I don't really ever want the y velocity to be negative. So I'm going to say y velocity is math.max of 0 and the current one. So it'll never make it to a negative y velocity. All right, let's see what happens. And actually, just like spam spam the chat with drops. And let's drop a little Santa, haha elf. The decrease in velocity will have to be enough to make it stop before it crosses the path of the tree. Yeah, I think that's what we need to find. We need to find like the sweet spot. PogChamp. Oh, I disabled multiple drops. I totally forgot. All right, let me undisable that really quick. Okay, now you can spam with drops all day. Let's see if it slows down enough. Like I said, it flung it away from the tree. It's hilarious, actually. Woo! Oh, that's funny. So basically, we need to determine if it's approaching if it's approaching from this direction, we increase the x velocity. But if it's approaching from this direction, we decrease the x velocity. Yeah, they're all just getting thrown from the tree now. Which is kind of fun. All right, let's fix that. So, oh, it's all good, Daniel. It's all good. It's like a snow flurry. They're like rotating around. We could also increase it by a lot more. Though, no, let's think about what's happening though. So we're reversing the x velocity, which is going in the opposite direction. We don't really ever want to reverse it. We want to increase it. Right? Oh no, we want to slow it down. Never mind. Yash is saying, would you ever consider upgrading it to use a game or physics engine? Absolutely. Yeah, I have nothing against that. It was just fun to work on it from writing it from scratch. Hello, Wings in the Sky. We're working on what you're seeing right now. We just added some weird logic that's making these snowflakes rotate around the tree instead of actually land on the tree. We're gonna try to fix that. Okay, so really, if velocity.x is greater than, so if it has a positive velocity, we want to decrease it. Like that. If it has a negative x velocity, meaning it's going like this, then we want to increase it, which would basically be the opposite. And then y, we always decrease the y velocity. All right, let's see. This is JavaScript, so this is just running inside of the browser. I'm using Open Broadcast Studio, and then I have a browser source that's loaded this web page. All right, spam the drops. Let's do haha shrug. It never quite gets to 0, and then it like just slowly goes away. I think we're on to something though. I think we're on to something because it's kind of like stuck to the tree. I think I need to do something similar with velocity y. So drop.velocity dot. Oh no. Actually, I need to say if drop.velocity.y is 0, then we do it. Okay. Open Broadcast Studio is what a lot of Twitch streamers use. It's free software that allows you to control the stream. So you can set your input sources. Like I have a video camera right there. I have an HDMI capture card for my computer. I have an audio device that captures this microphone. Basically, you can arrange all of your input sources. And so that's what I'm using to stream right now. Yeah, so the idea is you eventually, if you make it to the tree, like Andrew is about to do, and if you land on the tree, then that will stay there. Well, he didn't quite make it. It has to be a little bit more in now, I think. That's the wrong one. Where's Alka? Are they not landing on there anymore? we might just be at a loss. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Let's see if any of them land on the tree. And what happens. So basically I did, yeah, that's okay. I determined like if it has a negative, or if it has a 0 y velocity, then it's done instead of like bouncing back and forth again. That's not bad. We can see that it is kind of making a square shape again. Yeah, it's stopping it. Like ideally it'll make it a little bit further into the tree. Let's see more. And if that's the case, I might just need to not increase the x velocity so much, so that way it can float a little bit further in. No, right now there can be only one tree at the bottom. And none of my drops made it. Come on! Yeah, I want to watch it happen. That's a little bit better. Because you can see, like, this one, they went in just a little bit more. Yeah, but you're right. It's still kind of a box. But what I think we can do is decrease it less. We'll decrease the y velocity less, so it takes longer to get to 0. Leave the x velocity the same. Yeah, but I think if we decrease the y velocity less, then that means it's going to take longer before it stops. The problem is it's stopping on the edges instead of making it further into the tree. I could just write a function that drops a bunch to test it, but yeah. Oh, that's weird. Drop.velocity equals drop.velocity times math.random. So velocity has an x and a y component. This is just an object with two properties, so we're not really doing any vector math. So we could say random between 0.1 and 1 and both x and y. So this little guy, he made it in a little further. Yash is saying, could you not have like a resistance variable so once it does pass through the tree, it starts to slow down? I think that was the idea here. So KC Millam math.random in JavaScript returns a random value between 0 and 1. I would have to map it to get it between 0.1 and 1. Well, actually, I could just add 0.1. I don't know. Time to create a triangle collision class. Yeah. Here's what I'm going to do, too. We're going to drop a bunch of alkas. Do a for loop while I is less than 200. Are you ready for this? Here it comes. It's so slow. All right, let's not do 200. Let's do 50. There we go. That's not bad. Yeah, the thing is, it's yeah, and like at the okay, so he did make it to the bottom of the tree. That's a lot, Bob. um, I could potentially move it down, like behind me. We'll do that. All right, so let's wait. Let's wait for all the names to disappear. Yeah, I just got DDoSed. We'll wait for the names to disappear and then see what the tree looks like. But I kind of have to go because I've been streaming for 3 hours. And I am absolutely open to pull requests. So I'm going to push this up to GitHub. If you want to try and fix it, make it better, feel free. And yeah, we're... got to figure something out because... still square, yeah. It's basically, it's a square bounding box. The thing is, we're reducing it by a random amount, right? And thanks for the follow, Wings in the Sky. Yeah, we could also add some logic in here that determines if it hits the top of the tree and then turn it into a star. But I think I gotta go to bed. Gotta work tomorrow. But yeah, I'll push it to GitHub. Yeah, and TMI works very well. And so yeah, I'll push it to GitHub. But if you want to test it, you can basically just change the channel name here, and then change it to whatever channel name you want, and it'll listen for drop messages in that channel. It varies. I definitely stream every Wednesday night, which is tonight, and I usually stream on the weekends as well, but I don't really have a set schedule as of yet. look what we created. Look at our wonderful tree. Oh, it's so weird and ugly. Yeah, see you later, Majestic Eye. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, and we'll probably fix this in a future stream, or I'll accept pull requests too. Basically, we need to fix the top of the tree. We need to get these ornaments further in. But yeah, and thanks Casey Millam for stopping by. I'll see you later. Okay, let me push it to GitHub, and then we'll go. Oh yeah, and we didn't come up with a better name than Christmas Drop. I don't think so. We're gonna call this Christmas Drop. And let me clean this up a little bit because there's just like random SVGs floating around in a file. So let's delete that Christmas card. Oh, I think every time I delete a file, it detects a change. So it's going to drop a bunch of alcas. That's fine. See you later, Yash. Thanks for tuning in. I think we need snow. We don't need snowflake. Don't need that one. Yeah, every time I change a file, we're going to see a bunch of alcas dropping. I think that's okay. We only need the tree.svg. And we don't need that. Okay, that's pretty clean. Oh yeah, there was the link to triangle collision detection. I'm gonna, well, no, we'll leave it there because we could potentially look at that in the future. Tree image, snow image. Did I credit the snowflakes? That's this one. Let's credit that. Alcas keep dropping. All right, let's push this to GitHub. I don't think there's anything we need to ignore here. Cool. And we will push it here. Cool. Here's the code. Feel free to hack on it. And like I mentioned, you can point it at a different channel and listen for drop messages. Alrighty, let's raid someone. I think if Alka is still streaming, we see him, he's on the Christmas tree here. We'll raid him if he's still streaming. I'll be back for sure on Saturday. Most likely early morning Saturday. And possibly Friday. Like I said, I don't have a schedule, but, well, wait. Tomorrow's not Friday, but potentially Friday.
Which is a height of...
Yeah, Alka streaming. So Alka is working on the Advent of Code, which I was working on, but then life got in the way. So I haven't worked on it in like the past several days. So he's working on, I believe, day 19. And these are just basically daily code challenges leading up till Christmas. And Alka is a mod of the channel. He's a mod of like 100 other Twitch channels. He is the maintainer of TMI.js. And what else? An all-around great guy. So we're going to raid his channel. Thanks everyone for watching. Let's get our raid message ready. It is this. Ceiling. Heart. seedling. Like that. There we go. So when we head over there, be sure to throw the raid message. Thanks everyone for tuning in. This is, I think, only the second time that I've only streamed on Twitch instead of YouTube, and I can tell that a lot of people don't get my notifications. So next time I'll probably be streaming on both YouTube and Twitch. Thanks everyone for hanging out with me. We built this thing. It's a little lopsided and not that great, but we'll make it better over time. I mean, we only have, what, 6-7 days till Christmas? But, you know. Alrighty, everyone. Have a good night, Sanjay. Wherever you are in the world, have a wonderful morning, afternoon. So this is the original drop game. And because it's been paused, all the drops that happened in the meantime are But yeah, this is the thing that we just rewrote to make it Christmas themed. But wherever you are in the world, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night. And until next time, here's this.